And I go, what the hell kind of car is this? I'm trying to look for the make. And I turn around, I come around the back end of the car, and it says Knievel on the back of it. So now, I got a good idea whose car this is. But I'm thinking, now what is he doing in Lawrence, Kansas at the country club here? Well, he has some connection to, I don't know what you want to call them, organized crime guys or whatever, but they're Kansas City guys who used to come down to that country club and play golf, a couple of them, which I knew. Anyway, I walk in, and I play golf there, and I know all the waitresses, I know who people work here, and one of the waitresses comes up and says, hey, Coach, Evel Knievel's here. I said, yeah, I know. I saw his car. She goes, yeah, we were out there looking at it. I said, that's unbelievable. She goes, yeah, he's hitting on Sheila. Sheila, I mean, she's great looking, yeah. And I said, he's hitting on Sheila, yeah. Sheila says, oh, he's really like aggressive. And I go, really? So I said, so I see Sheila. I go play golf. I never went over there. They were like in a little private room. I just kind of looked and kind of peeked in there. And I went and played golf, finished 9 holes, and walked in and get a sandwich. I saw Sheila. I said, hey, Sheila, I said, where's the Knievel? You know, what's he doing? He's out playing golf with these guys. And I said, I heard he was hitting on you. She says, oh yeah, Coach, you should have heard what he said. I said, what'd he say? He said, how about you and me after we played golf? He says, I'll take you to the penthouse in Kansas City. He says, hey, we'll go out, we'll do the town, you stay with me that night. She says, I don't even know you. And he says, hey, I'm Evel Knievel, you know me. And she says, well, you know, you're a little older than I am. He goes, that's okay, sweetheart. He says, I'll teach you some things. She says, well, aren't you married? And he says, oh, yeah. And he says, well, doesn't your wife get upset about this? Oh, no. He said, I always tell my wife, I'm practicing because I want to be at my best for her. And I thought about that, and I thought, man, has he got a gullible wife. But the point I'm making is, you know, you got to practice to be good at what you do. You have to. I guess Evel thought he had to practice that too, but the point is, you have to practice and get better at what you do. And the only way you can do it is reps. So I try to get as many reps as I can during practice. Because, you know, if you're standing there, hey, even though you might only be able to coach one group, 2 guys at that particular time, I try to do as much as possible. And really what I call this a zone teaching drill, rip, run, and press. Rip, run, and press. Rip, run, and press. 45-degree step. You're either doing stretch hook or stretch scoop. So, all right, we get in here like this. What's this guy's rule? Now you guys have the lesson. What's his rule? Stretch what? Scoop. He's uncovered, right? Stretch scoop. So where's his aiming point? He's aiming for that play side number. What's his rule? Stretch hook. Where's his aiming point? Outside armpit. Leading the guy slightly, okay? All right. So that's what he's going to do. If this guy hangs into him, what's that tackle or guard going to do? He's going to do what? He's going to wait for the overtake. So once engaged, stay engaged. And what he's going to do is he's going to rip that off shoulder and forearm through. Hey, don't, look, when you rip that off shoulder and forearm through, like this, you step, you rip it, it's got to be up into here. Can't be this stuff, that ain't no good. I'm going to tell you that right now. This is not any good blocking. You got to rip, you know why? Your hands are your controlling vehicles or controlling mechanisms for your blocking. They help you achieve blocks because you can feel pressure more with your hands than you can with your elbow. I can feel what this guy's trying to do. Sift inside, come across my face if my hands are up inside. Now, when I first teach all this, I don't talk about hands too much because I get guys blocking or not coming off the ball the way they should. So what you want to do is teach, come off the ball, rip, run, rip, run, rip, run, rip, run, rip, run, press, rip, run, press. Then I said, okay, now use that hand. Use that inside hand. Get your feel. So here, stretch scoop, stretch hook. Guy steps inside, come off, fade for leverage, okay? So I teach you, all right, now, next time, let's say we don't do this. I go stretch hook, stretch scoop. Guy plays outside. Go through the natural area, block the linebacker, you stay on the hook. And you know what? Hook, just keep going, keep working for the press. Okay? All right. Tight end. Not a problem here with the tight end. Hey, if we get this and he slants right there, I figure when he slants, he's more on a flat path anyway. We can still handle this in the C gap. All right? He comes off right here. He's got a fade for leverage. All right? You come up here. Now you go to this one. All right. On this, now here's where you can do one of two things. You can either work some man principles in here or keep working on your zone. So in your zone here, we tell him, hey, does he have somebody to hook on out here? No. So he's going to step with his inside foot through his outside armpit. You got it? Inside foot through his outside armpit. Why? There's nobody to stretch hook on right here. So I'm going to step with my inside foot through his outside armpit and fade for leverage. He's coming for there. All right, now, he's same thing. Inside foot through outside armpit, fade for leverage. Okay? Now I got terms for all this. You know, this is what we call a sting. This is what we call a rub. Excuse me, a rim. We call that a rim. Excuse me, this is a slice. Slice and a rim. That's what we call those two things. All right? Okay. All right, now, this is the one I don't like. We get the tight end to make a call. 10. Blocks down, guard pulls, shoulders square, crossover, up the field. Okay? So that's what we're going to work on. We're going to work on those things during that period. Now, you can take the whole line of scrimmage and line them up, just like this. You can take the whole line of scrimmage here and line them up like this. All right, whole line of scrimmage is up there. All right, now. All right, tight end's rule. Is he going to get help here? Huh? No, he's not going to get help here unless he calls for help. Now here's the tight end's rule on this. If we know by how this Mike linebacker, a lot of times when they like to run this stunt here, like this, they'll cheat the Mike to this position here, okay? So oftentimes our guard or our tackle, when they feel that Mike is cheated, they'll call over, all right? Over means now outside armpit, overtake, overtake, okay? That's what that means. Outside armpit, overtake, overtake. Yeah, the idea is we are anticipating picking up that, and getting the back. That's what we're anticipating. But we have to have a key to read that. Sometimes the key is every time the tackle moves from a 5 to a 4-eye, they come down like that, all right? Sometimes the key is the Mike backer. But I think it's very, very important that you understand this. And the reason why is this. You line them up, and the Sam backer lines up out here, and the end does this, and that Mike cheats in there, all right? Now, he's going to try to come off the outside armpit. He slants in here. Now, when he does this, when he's by himself, his footwork is this, lateral. All we want him to do is get a lateral hook. Why do we want a lateral hook? Does anybody know? Why does he take a lateral hook like this? Huh? That's right, exactly. In case I step like this and he goes back inside, I can just squeeze him off, okay? And the ball should go outside. But what happens to the tackle a lot of times when that guy does that right there? He steps lateral, squeezes back, takes it. What happens to the tackle?
Shoulder, coach.
Oh. Okay. What happens to the tackle right here? When that happens, here. He gets knocked off. So he comes over here like this. He slants right here. He knocks him off. We get this one picked. He gets held up. He gets held up. And there's Mike making the play. Okay? So you have to know when that's coming or have to get a key. So if you're going to run outside zone a lot, and they like to run that, which a lot of teams, that's how they like to stop, toss, sweep, and slant. And slant and toss, sweep are outside zone are the same in structure. They're the same in structure. So what we're trying to do, you're actually learning two plays. We just get to the point where we have an overcall, and we know how to make that overcall. When do you get sometimes the 5 technique and the Sam going inside on what? When's the situation that you get it? Short yardage, goal line, you know how we call it? If we anticipate as coaches, we call slant, 8, over. We call it the call for them. Because we're anticipating we're going to get the hard pinch, and they know the pinch can hurt the slant and the sweep if the mic gets out there free, okay? They know that hurts the slant and sweep if the mic gets out there free, okay? So we make the call for them. We'll call toss, 8, over. All right? So we help make the call, but we also tell them if we don't call it, we expect them to make the call. All right, let's go back to here. All right. Let me just show you some here. You know, if you work this drill, you can do this too. What do you, tell me what you're going to teach this guy right here. What are you going to teach the backside? What are you going to teach the backside tackle? And all right. Okay, here we go. All right, so he's going to flat lateral step because he's not getting help. No overcall. 45-degree rip and run. Stretch hook. 45-degree overtake, stretch scoop. 45-degree stretch hook. What's he doing? Huh? What's he doing? He's doing stretch scoop right here. That's guy A, and he's doing stretch scoop too on the next down lineman, okay? So what he's going to do is this. Even though he's covered on the backside, their number one responsibility is to cover the gap they're responsible for. He's got to cover the A, he's got to cover the B. All right? So the number one responsibility is to cover the gap they're responsible for, and if somebody's in that, so what we want him to do is actually he can run a pull through here and use what we call a swipe block, just kind of get the guy down. You know, I know in high school you can't cut the guys, so, but if you can't cut them, then what you do is tell this guy, hey, sprint to left, sprint to get around that guy, sprint to get in front of him. Sprint. Use your speed. And I know he might not be very fast, but if he knows what he's doing and he's not sure where the play is, he can get there. He can get there. Okay? So, and I'm going to tell you a funny story about this too. We call this, that block was called a salad at Kansas. Now you'll like this story, because this really, this is one of these stories that you can go relate to a lot of people. This is called salad. Coach Mason's ex-wife, that was his wife at the time. Her name was Sally also. All right. Well, these guys get up there and they go, Sally, Sally, you know, they'd be calling it out nice and loud, just like Coach Ruel wants them to do it, call it on the backside, want to hear it. Sally, all right? So we get in the meeting one day, and I got a guy that's having a hard as hell time, and I'm watching this thing, and I'm going, you're not getting a Sally. He says, Coach, I can't do it. And I said, you can do it. Don't tell me you can't do it. I said, I've been coaching for 20 years. I got every tackle I've ever coached has been able to do this. You can do it. He said, I'm telling you, Coach, it's a bitch. I said, you know what? Let me tell you something, Chris. I don't give a shit what you call it. You can call it bitch, you can call it Sally, you can call it whatever you want, but get it done. Got it? Drop the back foot, cross over, get the off-shoulder forearm in front, and get it done. We go out to practice. Lines up. We're an inside drill. Coach Mason's standing right here. I'm standing right here. All of a sudden, Chris Perez goes, bitch! Coach Mason, he didn't say anything the first time. He just kind of looks at me. I kind of feel like, you know, he's like, you know. Second time, they run it. He goes, bitch, again. You know what's amazing is? He was getting them now because that was his call now. I mean, he liked it. I said, you can call it bitch, you can call it whatever you want, just get it. He started calling it bitch, all right? So he's up there calling bitch. Mace looks over at me and says, hey, you're talking about my wife, aren't you? I said, no, Coach, I don't think so. He goes, well, tell me why they turned Sally calling to a bitch call. I go, Coach, I think it has nothing to do with your wife. Then he goes, well, I'm going to find out. He walks up to the huddle and goes, hey, you guys talking about my wife? And they all start laughing. He goes, I knew it. And I mean, I had to deal with him for 3 straight days on that deal. And you want to know what? 2 years later, he got a divorce. He said, you know, that's the best call you guys make. All right, how am I doing time-wise?
10 minutes, Coach.
10 minutes. Okay, here's what I want to do. I want to take you through just basic zone, walk through zones. All right, so we're going to step through them right here. And then I'm going to get a couple guys down here, and then I want to go through the different man calls, because there's like 2 or 3 different man calls that you would make versus some different looks. So why don't we get a couple guys down here? Come on, volunteers. You know, it's amazing. You know what I think is absolutely amazing? We ask for volunteers from our team to come on up. We get 1 or 2 guys, we rip their ass. Then I ask for it. You got the same guys who ripping their ass. Hey, you guys won't come up. Hey, I'm on record. That's bullshit, okay? All right. Okay. Now, let's give me 2 more guys. Oh yeah, see, come on, there we go. I see, look, you already look like you had some practice. You take the 5 picks and stand out here. Okay. All right. Let's bang. Okay, right there. All right? Okay, now, what we're going to do is I want you guys to take, here's all we're going to work on is a short 45-degree step on the hip. Got it? So we're going to take a short 45-degree step, and I'm going to critique you on your step, okay? All right, so all you take is 1 step. You understand? Can you follow instructions? Huh? Okay, it's good. It's important on your honeymoon. You ready? All right, ready? All right. I'm just going to say set, hit. All right, ready? Sit. You guys can snap down anytime you fucking want. Yeah, there we go. All right, sit. Hit. All right, 45-degree step. Where are you looking? No, you're going to stretch what? Yeah, you're looking at the outside number. So when you step, you're going to have to be just a little bit flatter. You might be a little bit more than 45 degrees, but that's what you're trying to get to, okay? All right, okay. Now, what's the next step? That's your lead step. Your second step is a explosion step, and what do we call that? Rip and run, right? So now we're going to rip. Now we're going to take a second step and rip. Ready? All right, sit, hit. That's it, rip. That's the idea. Now, you're going to stay engaged on this until you feel him fit in here, okay? Now, this is not a sexual exercise, don't worry about it. So you're going to, right there, right? Okay, now, when you feel him push in there, now you start over the top. That's right, you want to fade for leverage, exactly. You want to keep on running and then start to press, all right? Press up the field. So the minute you start feeling like you got leverage, the biggest mistake guys make is once they fit it, here, they've got here, and they start to press right now, and they don't have leverage yet. You want to hit to this point here, and once you get to the stick where you feel you got a half-hand leverage, you want to start pressing when you got it. So press, okay? So it's rip, run, and press. Basically how it works is, first step's a lead step, second step is rip, third step is run, fourth maybe run, and fifth maybe press, but it's going to be 1, 2, 3, boom, press it up the field, all right? So, all right, let's go 1 more here, all right? Ready? All right, let's do this quickly. Go over the top pass. Ready? Sit, hit! That's it. That's the idea. All right, now, going back. Now, the idea is when he rips his off-shoulder forearm in here, the thing I don't want to see is, I don't want to see him pushing in like this. I want to see that thing rip into here where he's got some control. So rip that off-shoulder forearm into here. Not trying to throw a punch for him. Trying to rip. We're going to try to get our eyes by the defender and upfield. That's another term I like to say. Get your eyes by him and then get your eyes upfield. Get your eyes by and upfield. Okay, we talked about getting your eyes to a certain point. I get a certain point, and then I do what? I'm trying to get up the field. Okay? All right, okay. Now, slant him here, step in. Is this how you got hurt on a slant? Huh? Yeah. All right, here we go. Ready? Step in here on top. All right, sit in. That's it. Out there. That's it. Okay? Now, you set this up and get 3 guys going. Now, just be a backer back here. Okay. All right. Be a 3 technique right here. Okay. Now, there's a middle backer here. Next guy's over the guard. Okay? All right, here we go. Now, you see where your guy is? Where is it? You guys are working these 2 guys. There's nobody in the A-gap. There's no threat, and there's no threat on the nose to come back to the A-gap. The guy this is a 3 technique with a mic backer and a 1 technique on the front side. So you really don't have any work here. So when you don't have work here, you got to advance to the next level. And your next level guy is where? Yeah, he's here. So what I'm saying on this basically is we'll sometimes give this guy a little help. Now I know what? I've got no threat in here to work. So now step here, boom, put the hand right there, just kind of hold it as he fits in, and I'm working here. You understand me? And so I'm going to put my hand out there and let him work that while he works this, okay? This is backside. No. You're always stepping. That's the whole point. We don't break the principles. We don't break the principles. What I don't like doing, though, if I've got no threat here, none. What I don't want you to do is step 45-degree run here and make it really hard for this guy to fit in this area. Got it? Huh? No, not on the backside. No, not on the backside. On the backside, still zone. And what I want, here's what I want. I don't want you escaping and letting this guy. Here's what. If you escape fast, go away hard. This gets tough. It really gets tough in the backside tackle. Okay, and that's why if we know the nose is in a 1 technique on the front side, then we've got to we just run through this area with the hand going up because we don't have an initial threat right here. And the whole idea is now if they stack the backer here, come over here. You stack backer. Hey, he's on his own now. He's on his own. The reason he's on his own is the number 1 guy that stops the outside zone play is not that guy. Number 1 guy that stops the outside zone is the backside linebacker. Backside linebacker, okay? He's the guy that stops the outside zone. All right? Huh? Yeah, you swipe block him, and you're now. In our league, obviously, we can cut the guys. So what I tell this guy is, hey, you run like you're throwing this guy a basketball pass, and you try to get to the position where you can cut this guy or make him go underneath. Okay? All right. Okay, so that's the backside. Now let's talk about man real quick. All right, you're the tight end. You're the tackle. 7 technique. Line up in a 7. All right, okay, 7 technique. Hey, before I bust your head again. Here we go. Ready? 7 technique. Okay, ready? All right, you're going to go over the top. You're going to stay right there. Ready? Sit. All right, that's it. Now, we didn't call man, right? So what you're going to do is there's no one to stretch what? Nobody really to stretch hook on. So you're going to drive the inside to the outside armpit right there and hold it until you feel the fit. Now, I don't particularly like this because of our angle of the way we handle it. So I call 10. Now I want you to execute a 10. 10 is you're going to take the 7 technique all the way. You got the backer coming through and going over the top. Okay? You're pulling to get him. What I want you to do is get leverage on him, but you're going to pull like this. If he comes underneath, you got to squeeze back and get it. If he goes over the top, you're on top of him, okay? All right, here we go. So really, you're going to sight the target, which is him, and you're going to get leverage and read his charge. All right, here we go. Ready? Sit. Hit. That's it right there. Good. That's it right there. That's perfect. Okay? Now, do this one right here. All right? You guys got to stay with it. Ready? Sit. Hit. That's it. Okay? So now the 7 technique jumps out. Take a short step on the 7 technique. He jumps out. I work with him like that. Sam fills underneath. Because he's got his shoulders square, he just pivots and drives everything back up the field on it, okay? Or just throttles and drives up the field, okay? All right, now, we have one more equation in this thing. We're allowed a 5 technique of wide 9, okay? Sam backer right here. All right, I need one more guy. Come on up here. Here we go. I want to kick your ass anyway. Here we go. You line up right here. All right. You're going to be a defensive tackle. Okay. Now, you're getting a wide 3 technique. Okay. And he's in a wide 3 like this. This becomes really hard. If he goes stretch, and I go stretch like this, are you stretching out that way? I have to flatten so much that he can destroy the line of scrimmage a little bit here and get it bowed. And I don't want him to bow it. So what we do here, in this case, is we got a 10 call there. This is a me call. A me call means I'm taking your backer. You take this guy. All right, you're still fighting. You're still blocking that guy. Yeah. No. Me call. Anytime we make an inside call, you got this guy all by yourself. If he lines up a 7 technique, which you might do with a wide 3, you still got him by yourself. All we're doing is me call is the guard and the tackle are switching assignments. You're manned up. Okay. So all of a sudden, here we go. Ready? Got a me call. Ready? 10. Boom. That's it right there. Okay. So. Yeah, that's really what it is. It's an inside technical. That's all it is. Okay. Now.
You still step when you play side foot?
You step near foot, near number. Near foot, near number. The biggest mistake I make on this is this. They step near foot, and they're too flat, and the guy bounces across. You don't really care about a little penetration right here because you're going to have the center working that A gap. So really what you want to do is step here and anticipate, boom, him working up over the top. Anticipate it. Now, here's why you need both schemes. Why you need zone and why you need man. Real simple, okay? All right. We call me. Me, he blocks down. All right, fight over the top. He's fighting over the top like a bitch, all right? Boom. So you go off the sideline, he says to me, he says, hey, coach, that 3 technique, every time I try to block down, he's flying over the top of me. Well, I got a question for you. The reason we're blocking this thing is he's in the gap to start with, right? He's in the gap to start with, all right? And he's charging this gap and bowling our line of scrimmage. If he's just sitting in this gap playing soft, then we can hook him and fight down the line of scrimmage. But because he's in the gap and charging, he's doing what? He's bowling our line of scrimmage, all right? So now, you go line up over here, all right? Now, we call me, he calls it. No, excuse me, guard calls it, we can't.